Yeah. Yeah, I'm feeling this beat. Marty, who is this?
Jay Dilla. Rest in
peace. Hey, yo, what's good, America? Rest in peace, for sure. This is Matt Casey, as always, joined by my dude, Marty Ward. And you know it, it's the Same Cloth Podcast. We're just cut differently. What's going on, baby?
Chilling, man. Hey. Some Jay Dilla.
Hey, first and foremost, let me give a shout out to my boy, JP, Justin Porter, a.k.a. Link, a.k.a. What Up, Though, Geneva's Finest. Rocking out with the, the Lacrosse school hat, custom made. Appreciate the care package. And if you're in the Chicago area, you got one of the finest coaches out there. And, check him out, Lacrosse School.
Lacrosse School.
Yep.
Like that. With a lot of drills, a lot of what's the influence?
Yeah, man, he's got club teams, he's got camps, he's got clinics. He had one of the I forget which year it was. I think it was 20s or the 19s. Like he had a crazy talented high school team a couple years ago. And, they were ranked, and he was putting in work in some national tournaments, man. He's a great coach, great motivator.
Nice.
He knows what he's doing. Geneva's Finest, stand up.
Love Geneva. Gym class heroes. I remember when they used to drop mixtapes before they started doing they got signed to the big deal majors. They used to drop mixtapes. Gym class heroes from Geneva.
Hey, too. A lot of stuff comes out of Geneva, man. It's not just Hobart. It's not just William Smith, But yeah, man, we got a big pod today. Yeah, we got a real special guest, man. She's one of the greatest lacrosse players in the Central New York history, and just an awesome person. I'll introduce her a little bit later. As always, we got some rapid fire questions for her. We got the real talker Fugazi stuff for her.
Yeah.
We'll get on to a cultural segment. We got a interesting what's the deal today. In light of it being, a Women's Month of March, Women's History Month, rather. We've got a real interesting story, and it just goes to show that, any type of a group that has been marginalized or just, suppressed for so long, they're always battling hurdles and little things that we just don't think about every day. But we'll talk about what the deal is with that.
We don't think about it as men because we don't have to deal with it. And that's the fact. And it's tough.
Yeah, that translates to so many things in life. And I can't wait to talk about that segment. But first and foremost, we are sports guys. We're lacrosse guys, but we're sports guys first. I'd love to talk about the All-Star game.
Let me know, man. Team LeBron winning the 4th straight year.
Yeah, LeBron.
He's just got the Midas touch, doesn't he?
He's a winner, and everybody thought he wasn't going to be a winner because he was, he lost a few games, but he was taking subpar teams as far as they could go to their limits. And, he never got the credit for it, but I know it's just an exhibition game, but that's 4 years in a row. He got to pick his team, and that's 4 years in a row that he won. And that means something,
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I think anything LeBron does, like I said, he's got the Midas touch. Like anything he does is going to be upper echelon. So big shout, King James.
Yeah. Just side note, Steph Curry with the comeback win in the 3-point shootout. They said they asked him if he pulled a Larry Bird.
Oh.
And Larry Bird walked into the locker room one year when he was in the 3-point contest and said, everybody looked at him because it's Larry Bird. He's a legend. And everybody looks at him and he goes, who in here is coming in second today?
Yeah. Right.
Basically implying that he was going to win and all you guys are playing for second.
Yeah.
They asked Steph if he did the same thing this year. And Steph's response was, sometimes when you walk in a room, you just don't got to say anything.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's the next level chirp. Don't even say anything.
And shout out to Orlando born champion of the slam dunk contest, my man Simons. He hit it. He kissed the rim
Oh yeah.
Kissed
Was
the
he
rim.
rocking did he rock the Tracy McGrady's? Was he doing Tracy McGrady?
He did.
Tracy McGrady.
Anthony Simons, man.
Yeah, big shout Tracy McGrady, Bartow, Florida, born raised 15 minutes south of Lakeland. Just opened up his first restaurant in Lakeland here too. So looking forward.
Oh, word, he's coming back.
Looking forward to just dabbling in some cuisine. Seeing what's
Let's
good.
go. I wonder what Tracy's got on the menu.
Man, we could host a podcast there.
He's a seafood guy. He looks like a seafood guy.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
What else we got? We got
Dak got paid.
It's about time. That would have been the most dirty move in sports history had he not gotten a contract. After 2 years, I think it was 2 years of being on the
3 years with the franchise tag.
Oh my God, 3 years on franchise. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And then he goes out and he has an all-star, like almost an MVP type season if they won some games. If he wasn't the only one, carrying this team every game.
It's so funny you say if they won some games. Yeah, I mean, if anybody wins some games.
Nah, but
they're still the Cowboys, dude.
This dude was putting up like 400 yards, 5 touchdowns. Yeah, he was on another level.
I'm not saying he shouldn't get paid. I think he's very good. Dak Prescott.
No, but what I was gonna say is he goes out and gets hurt, breaks his leg.
I know.
Gross.
That was sad.
And he's on a 1-year contract. He's been begging, not begging, but he's been asking for, desiring a long-term contract. And in football, nothing's guaranteed. You get hurt, man, you could be on the chopping block.
What?
And this dude deserved it, and he finally got it. So I'm happy for him.
I'm happy for him too. Jerry Jones too. I mean, just is up there. He's like the evil emperor from Star Wars up there, the Sith Lord, just sitting up in that booth, bro. He
is getting old, man.
Got the Death Star, man.
He is getting old.
I mean, it's wild to me, man. I think it's crazy, but it's a lot of cake. But Dak Prescott is very good, so he is worth every penny for that franchise. Let's move on to Bryson DeChambeau wins the Arnold Palmer Bay Hill tournament.
Yeah, man. Shout out, man. A lot of Florida, Orlando connections, Central Florida connections, in sports right now. That's what's up. But DeChambeau, man. I mean, nothing much to say about him other than like he seems kind of like a dork. Is that mean to say? I don't know.
I mean, you tell me, bro.
He was like this little guy, before
6'1",
the pandemic.
240 now.
Now he got, he put on 50 pounds, at least 50 pounds over the pandemic.
6'1", 240 now.
I ain't calling him a dork to his face. I'll tell you that.
Yo, I'm like, what are you saying right now?
Nah, that's my guy.
You gonna go challenge him over at Celebration or at,
I won't. I'll challenge him to anything lacrosse related.
Okay.
I'll challenge him to anything basketball related. I ain't challenging him to a fight. I'm not challenging him to a long distance drive, nothing go. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'll challenge him. I don't care.
Let's go.
I'm in on it.
Let's go.
Baseball training camps.
Hold on. I want you to understand this.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
This man is 6'1", 240, gained 50 pounds over the pandemic.
Big dude, man.
Came out, won Bay Hill.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. Come out to Lone Palm, Lakeland, Florida, Bryson. Come on out. We'll treat you to a round. You can golf with some of the box. We'll have a good time. All right?
Oh, yeah. I'm in. You got
same cloth invite, Bryson. Same cloth invite.
That's what's up. Yeah, I like Bryson. Bryson.
No doubt.
Moving on. We got baseball training camp starting up. We were talking, before we started rolling the film here. Just saying baseball training camp is so valuable. Probably the most valuable preseason in all of sports. In football, you got 4 preseason games or 3, whatever they did this year. I don't even know if they did preseason games.
They did 2.
And then in basketball, even in football, they don't play until like the starters don't play until like the last 1 or 2. In basketball, like I don't think LeBron's, or anybody of like that all-star nature has played a preseason game for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Their careers, like they don't play.
Yeah.
And then
baseball's meaningful, man.
Baseball's important. They got to
preseason, man.
they got to get their arms in shape. They got to get their bats tuned up, you know, and it's really important for them. So shout out. And it's in Florida. Again, we got some more, you know, most of these preseason camps, you know, and games are somewhere up and down the coast of Florida.
I mean, we got tons of teams in Florida. I mean, the Grapefruit League just pops off. I mean, we're in Tiger Town right here in Lakeland. You know, Tiger Town's got the 100-year contract with the Detroit Tigers. So Lakeland, Florida, beautiful facility, Joker Martian Stadium. I mean, Detroit, stand up, 3-1-3.
Word, man, word.
Let's talk about this Miles Leonard cat. What did he say?
Bro, he apparently dude's huge gamer. You know, he's been on record talking about how the benefits of gaming and how he enjoys it and how it's a release and how it's his way of interacting with fans. Okay. And unfortunately, his interactions with fans got a little hostile. Whether it was, you know, a mean gesture, or, you know, like not mean, but intended to be playful or whatever, you know, it was hurtful. It was wrong. And you know, it was like insensitive in a world that, you know, I think is turning into a place where, you know, we need more sensitivity. We need more empathy. Whether you like it or you don't like it, we're moving that way. And I personally believe in empathy. I believe in, you know, understanding others.
Yeah, we just got to be better, man. We got to be
better. What'd he say? He got killed in Call of Duty, and he went on a rant. He went on a rant, you know, just like, you know, all of us would do, like, oh, man, you know, I can't believe you got me or whatever. He just used some expletives and some racial slurs, some anti-Semitic slurs.
Anti-Semitic, yeah.
He said, you effing cowards. Don't effing snipe at me, you effing. And they use the K word.
Yeah.
And that's just there's no place in life for that type of behavior, that type of response, that type of reaction.
No.
You know, we're dealing with this in all types of forms, and you know, I'm sure there's you know, certain words and certain phrases that are really hurtful to women, demonstrative to women, and you know, we're really focusing on being positive this month in March and in Women's History Month. So you know, there's no place in the world for this stuff.
No, we're past that time. Let's grow up, Miles Leonard. Okay.
Yep.
Stop gaming so much. Read a book.
Get your mind right, Miles.
You wasn't with me shooting in the gym.
You know what I mean? Yep.
Come on, man. Be more like Kobe. Let's go.
What happened this week in lacrosse, bro?
I'm just gonna go over the number ones right now. The rankings, coaches' rankings came out. Division I, North Carolina, number 1 in the country by a slim margin, 5-0 record. Duke following up behind him, number 2. Maryland, number 3. Rutgers in the top 5, and Georgetown in the top 5. Yeah, man. First time
Rutgers
in a
got
long
some studs.
time. Yeah, they're balling. Coach Breck up there on the river, man, doing his thing up there in New Brunswick.
How long's Breck been there?
At least a decade. He's been there a minute. And then D2 wise, we still have Lemoyne sitting on top of the rankings. They haven't played a game yet. Tampa number 2. Seton Hill out here just slamming teams, man. They just put 34 goals up yesterday on some team from West Virginia, Davis and Elkins. Mercyhurst, number 4, and then Adelphi, number 5, rounding out the top 5. 3 of the top 5 teams have yet to play a game in D2. And then D3, we got RIT, number 1, Tufts, number 2. Lynchburg just beat Salisbury, who was preseason number 1. And Lynchburg College from the ODAC is 4-0, and they're still not number 1. RIT and Tufts have yet to play a game, and they're number 1.
Yeah, you can't.
It's a big riff right now in the coach's game right now. Cabrini's number 4, rounding out the top 5. You got Salisbury. The big news out of D3 is the NESCAC has decided to play a reserve schedule this spring, starting April 10th. So big shout to the NESCAC. They are bullying the Ivy League right now, bullying them because Ivy League pulled out, and NESCAC said, "No, we'll play lacrosse."
The mini Ivies, right?
I love it.
Yo,
let's get Brittany on here.
That's good news that we're moving in the right direction, man.
We are moving. We're moving.
We are moving. Yo, let her in. So we have a special guest today, and you know, I just give her a little introduction here. Nothing much, but you know, I was fortunate enough to meet Brittany. I don't know, a decade ago almost, right at a camp.
Hi, Brittany.
Britt.
We're introducing you now, so you're good to go.
Okay, awesome.
So our special guest is a former lacrosse player, just like like I said, one of the GOATs in lacrosse in Central New York. She ended up going to UMass, transferring out of there. Ended up scoring 182 goals in 3 years at Lemoyne, which is unreal. We'll have to talk about the ratio between goals and assists, but that's a different topic.
That's a D2 bully right there, if I've ever seen one. I love it.
She ended up.
We were Division I when I transferred, and I broke my foot halfway through the season.
There you go. Oh, never mind.
So
that's just
2.5 years.
D1. I forgot you guys were D1.
Yeah.
I forgot that. Yeah, it was baseball and women's lacrosse used to be D1 at Lemoyne, right? Is baseball still D1 at Lemoyne?
No, they dropped to D2 a year after we did because they make their schedules like 2 years in advance.
I remember that. Yeah, that's great. Awesome.
Let's see what else we got. She played professionally for Team STX. She's coached in college at Hamilton College and Binghamton University. She one of my favorite things is like she has a bachelor's, a master's, and I don't know. Do you have an admin cert yet from Lemoyne?
I will in August.
Will in August.
Nice.
All right. So she's an athlete, but she's also really in tune with education. She's a teacher in Syracuse, New York, with the Syracuse City School District, and she's giving back to the inner city community in some of the best ways possible. She also commentates for Syracuse lacrosse games. What else am I? Are you in the Hall of Fame for Lemoyne?
I got inducted last year. Yeah.
There it is. So she's a Hall of Famer. I mean, we've got literally one of the best lacrosse players ever. So
you're making me feel real good about myself.
Brittany, where'd you grow up?
I grew up on the north side of Syracuse, but I went to CBA. Sorry.
Oh, you went to CBA. Okay. And what part of the north side?
Like Ross Park, like right by McChesney Park.
Yep.
Oh,
yep.
McChesney.
Yeah.
Yep. We all know McChesney.
Yeah, we know that area.
I used to walk over there and play basketball all the time.
Okay, cool. Now, were you recruited to go to CBA, or was that just something that you did?
No, it was something that we did. I went to private schools my whole life. And
okay.
Yeah. My parents pretty much like gave up everything to be able to put me through CBA, and I went to Blessed Sacrament for elementary school.
All right. Yep. Okay, cool. A little different than Van Dyne, Clary, and Corcoran.
Listen, but I grew up in the city, and then I help out with the boxing gym over on the west side. So
no, you're good. You're a city girl. You're good. You know the deal.
Yeah. I've got a good mix. I'm a city girl, but I have like the Catholic school side. I don't know if that's good or dangerous, but
could be both. So tell us a little bit about your coaching background. Okay.
Coaching background. Let's see. So out of college, I actually didn't think I would become a college coach right away. A couple of people approached me at the All-American banquet in Pennsylvania at the end of my senior year to see if I'd be interested. So I was like, that kind of sounds like a dream job to me. And so I started applying, and then loved Hamilton when I got to campus. So started coaching there, and then moved to Binghamton University. And then while I was there, right before I got to Binghamton, actually, so a lot of the reasons why I transferred and things like that, my father was diagnosed 3 different times with colon cancer.
Okay.
Oh, and I was always in the role as a caregiver. So right before I got to Binghamton, he was diagnosed, and it just was like too much going back and forth to try to be home with him and then driving back there. So then that's how I kind of moved home and started teaching in the city, and then coached at CBA for a little bit. They were great, just like knowing the situation, they brought me right in. And then I was the head coach at West Hill High School for the varsity program for a few years. And then decided to start my CAS degree, which obviously can't really teach full time, coach a program, and do this. So decided to take a step back from coaching a little bit. And then now I'm just going to be doing freshman lacrosse at Fayetteville Manlius this year.
That's cool. That's great.
Kind of fits into everything because my internship's virtual after school, so I can be a little bit flexible. But we'll see what happens after I get my degree.
Yeah. And where are you teaching at now in the city school district?
I teach at H.W. Smith.
Where is that?
H.W. Smith.
It's across the street from Lemoyne.
Okay. East side.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I do fourth grade.
So I saw you you posted something on IG or reposted or whatever, put out something on your story about a kid, and I did a little research. He's a Syracuse kid. I'm guessing you have some kind of teaching relationship with him. He just became like maybe some kind of Golden Gloves champion or Olympic boxer. You want to talk about that?
Sure. So there's a boxing gym on the west side of Syracuse. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I know, Matt, you probably are, right?
I know it.
Is it on Geddes? Is it on Geddes?
It's on Geddes. It's across
the old Wendy's, right? It's the old Wendy's. It used to be a Wendy's back in the McDonald's back in the day. Yep.
So, okay. So there's a little bit of background here. So my father was a boxer. My father started with Ray Rinaldi when he was about 14 years old, and then won the gold medal for Italy, which I have some pictures I'll send you guys too. And then kind of got out of it when he started a family and stuff. And then when he got sick for the first time and then my parents separated, he went back to the boxing gym and then was coaching there up until the day he died. So I started going just for the workouts while I was in college, and I would be right there with the boys working out and with my dad, which was awesome. But these kids that go to the gym are amazing, and they just have become like my little brothers and sisters. I mean, some of them are older, obviously, but Amir Anderson in particular, him and his sister, which is pretty amazing, are both national champions.
Okay.
Which is incredible. So, but Amir was selected to be training with the U.S. boxing team and was in Bulgaria last year when the pandemic hit and had to come home.
Okay.
So that's the goal, is for him to be able to participate in the Junior Olympics. And he he's amazing. He brought the gifts up at my dad's funeral. That's how close I am.
Wow. Oh man, that's so cool. Well, I'm
yeah.
Is Amir, Amir's from the West Side then?
Yeah.
People
so
don't know about
you got to be thrilled. You got to be thrilled.
My God. I'm so excited. It's they do. And that's we're trying to do more with the boxing gym. You know, obviously the pandemic has taken a hit, but we're trying to expand even more and just do more for the city in general. But I mean, we've got Amir, and then his sister has done great things. And we've got a couple of national champion boxers out of there. That's teaching. I've been involved with the city, but the boxing gym has really allowed me to form even different types of relationships with our kids.
That's great.
Just because there's not as many limitations, and I could get in the ring with them. Well, I don't really get in the ring, but I do the work.
Well, think about it, Brittany. You're going from a lacrosse background, private school. You grew up in the city though, so you know the city, you know the dynamics of Syracuse. Now you're hanging on the west side with boxing, boxers. The west side, for people that don't know, the west side of Syracuse is one of the toughest areas of the country in any city. So you're dealing with a totally different demographic than what you're dealing with on the lacrosse field. And that's just the nature of what those two sports are, right? So I think it's awesome that you're working with the boxing gym. That's such a cool thing. And I still remember when that McDonald's got renovated into a boxing gym. I thought it was awesome. So
Ray's done. I mean, Ray's 91. He's still still kicking.
Yep.
Old school Italian guy.
Awesome.
And has just, he's been doing this now for 60 years, I think he said, but it's just it's so inspiring to see it. We met the other night actually, just because he is getting older. His wife just passed away recently. So he's just I want to be able to make sure we get these certain things in place. And this is what I want to keep doing for the city. And you're in charge of this, you're going to be in charge of this. And just really we're trying to take over that corner of the west side if we can, because there's a building that's been up for foreclosure actually. So hopefully we can get it and transform that into like almost I don't want to say completely vocational type setting, but maybe hooking up with like Hillbrook and getting those kids before, after they go to Hillbrook and really working with them.
Positive relationships.
Yeah.
For
Man,
sure. That's
man,
awesome.
I remember being over there, Fiesta, the mart over there, the Oswego Street,
Yep.
yo, like tough areas. But
It's a good time. But listen, when I'm teaching, like the kids just automatically, like when they find out I'm involved with the gym, it's like, all right, we can't play in here.
Yeah, there's no messing around.
Well, that's something that's really important, right? Like boxing teaches you that structure, that discipline, right? So if you meet somebody that's affiliated with the gym, the boxing gym that you go to, that you're a part of, instantly you gain respect for that individual, and the teachings of boxing, the discipline, the structure, apply to everything that you're doing with that person. So I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I don't follow boxing to the fullest, like I'm more of a football, basketball, baseball, lacrosse type of guy, golf. But anytime there's a good boxing match, anytime there's a, there's a big event, I'm in there, I'm watching it. Right.
Want to see a cool picture? Actually, it's right in front of me.
Yeah.
So this is Ray.
Make sure you explain it though. We're on Spotify.
You'll be able to see it. It's Ray with Ali.
What's Ray's last name, Brittany?
Ray Rinaldi.
Rinaldi.
Syracuse's finest. Stand up.
Yeah. 1990.
Nice.
This picture was taken. Isn't that awesome? Sick. He just gave it to me the other day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's so cool. That's so cool. Hey, the one thing we kind of got off topic, and that's great because I think all of those things, all of the topics that we just discussed, need to be heard by just more than Cuse people. People in the lacrosse community need to understand that there's more to life than just partying, playing lacrosse, and traveling and living a glorious life. There's people outside
that privilege to be
that
able
need our help. Right.
Yeah. And that's where a lot of people, I think, in Central New York, and I'm not, because Matt and I left, we're down here in Central Florida doing our thing now. Like back home, that town could use some better positive influences just on the outreach side. And if some of our peers and some people want to step up, there's opportunities for you to step up in the city. Like, I use my grandfather as an example. He was a city guy his whole life, and always gave back to Corcoran High School in some capacity, either a volunteer, taping ankles, doing something. We would always have football players, lacrosse players over at the house. Whatever they needed, we had it for them. You know what I mean? Just trying to help them, and I think like there's people like that in the city that if they get connected with young people that are motivated to help other young people and pass it down generation to generation, then you can make some definite great positive influences in that town.
And it's not just a Syracuse thing. I mean, we're
anywhere.
It's all over the country.
Yeah,
you see it in Orlando, you see it in Lakeland, you see it all over the place. So, so Britt, real quick, I mentioned earlier that you were you were on Team SDX. I've seen the pictures, I've seen the billboard. I personally don't even really understand the significance of it. And being that it's Women's History Month, I want you to give us a little idea of, what being a part of something that elite was like. Can you explain what you guys were given, what kind of experience you had being a part of that team?
Hands down, lacrosse wise, I think one of the best, even outside of lacrosse, one of the best experiences I've ever had. So when I graduated from Lemoyne in 2012, and 2013 was the first year they started it. So I was one of the first 9 members, which was pretty cool to become a sponsored athlete for STX, because this was the first time like they've ever done anything for women like that. So for us, we were just like, holy crap. And in the moment, like embracing it, this is amazing. But then like after the first year or two, like really recognizing like we can really make change in the sport and help it grow. So that was just incredible. going and playing lacrosse, you don't really think of those opportunities that are going to happen, especially for girls. And now I feel like that's paved the way to allow, the professional league to start, and just like having more opportunities after college to have access to something with lacrosse. Obviously playing with like the best players in the game was amazing. I mean, you can't get any better than that. I mean, you just, forced you to become better. You had to step up and really work your butt off in the off, like before, any tournament or anything.
Yeah.
But it was just overall, like the people that they chose in particular were awesome people, which made it that much better because, they were looking for women that were going to be good role models for girls playing the game.
Yeah. Ambassadors.
Yeah. That's what I think they used like when they first started it. So that was just like, it made it so much better. I mean, I got to travel the country and do appearances and, cool. Meet these girls all over the place, which was awesome.
The pictures you guys took, especially yours in particular, I've seen a few of them. You guys were badass. Like you guys were like, they filmed you in great like athletic poses, and you guys looked like you were going to beat the brakes off of whoever you're playing against. Like it was awesome.
We had no choice. But it was it was cool. So like one of the years I came down to Florida actually, and we had a photo shoot down there. So I was the face of the Crux. I don't know if you guys know that stick in women's lacrosse, like the
Crux,
original Crux 500.
Yeah.
So I was the face of that for a year in 2014, I believe. So that's where some of those pictures came from. Yeah. And then I was there with Demi Ann Cook from Stony Brook, and then Sam Farrell, who played at Florida, and they were midfield and defenders. So that would just overall, I mean, again, like you don't think that you're going to be a part of something like that when you started playing lacrosse when I was around, because they didn't have that. So then you're going to Florida to do a photo shoot, and now it's just taken off, which is incredible. But in the moment, it was like.
When did you start playing lacrosse?
I started playing with Eastwood Bears.
Love it.
Hey, I played football for Eastwood.
Big rivals of the Valley Vipers.
And right after third grade, going into fourth grade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Which,
if we're going to talk about starting to play lacrosse, I do have to ask Matt, and I'm going to put him on the spot.
Oh boy.
Matt, I have to know, how did you start playing lacrosse, and how was your first day of tryouts?
Oh my God.
How was that, Matt? I don't know.
Because I heard some things, and I'm dying to know it from your perspective.
All right. Okay, from my perspective. So I'm guessing this is coming from Pook. All right. So let me see.
I was at practice that day.
I don't remember what happened first day of practice.
Tell me. I heard about the stick and all. I need. All right.
So I was a baseball guy my whole life. I was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
I had a falling out with my baseball coach, and I ended up not making the team as a sophomore, even though I was on the team. I'd anticipated starting as a sophomore on varsity, and I didn't make the team. So we had a little falling out, and I don't remember. I honestly don't remember the first day of lacrosse practice. I remember there was a transition period, right? So I didn't play lacrosse that sophomore year until like the last 3 weeks. And I signed on because I was just he was playing baseball, but I was just hanging out with people, probably getting involved in things that, I probably should have been focusing on other stuff. So my basketball coach, football coach, Coach Smith, told me to come to lacrosse practice and check it out. So I came. I don't even think I changed for the practice. I was just in jeans.
You wore jean shorts or something.
Yeah, probably. I was probably jortsing it up. Oh, no. Yeah, it was towards the end of the season, and I thought it was cool. So I came back a second day, and I don't remember. I know I was awful. I was a terrible lacrosse player.
My dad used to get after you because you didn't tie your cleats.
I did not tie my
never tie cleats.
I have a weird quirk about playing cleat sports, right? Football or lacrosse. Like I like smaller cleats.
Yeah.
So like I honestly should wear like an 11, maybe 11 and a half. And I would have in college, I'd have like a 9.5, 10.
Just
and
no, and not tie
I wouldn't
them.
tie them. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But yeah, well, I don't think I want to know on record what you heard for the
We
for the
can
first day
pause.
of practice. But I'm curious. I'm curious.
I was dying laughing. Like I had like tears in my eyes. He, you went to tryouts because he said he walked up there and watched it like with his brother one of the first days. You had some stick with barely any pocket.
Sounds about right. Probably was a girl stick.
I think it
probably didn't know what it was. I was like, do I use this one?
Could have been a girl stick.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
So he said you were good, like athletically, you were so fast, right?
Yeah.
So I was dying. It was like you drop the ball, like you'd go by people, you drop the ball, like keep running, thinking you had the ball in your stick, go back when it was still on the ground, still be able to get it because you were that fast.
I can see that. I can see that.
Well, that was the story of my high school career. I remember going up against like West Jenny's best. Like at some point in time, like I became the best attackman on our team, and
your senior year, you were the best attackman.
Yeah, and I would draw the best defender. All these guys were going to Navy and going to. I remember JT Pritchard for Auburn. He was going to UPenn, and all these guys were going D1 big time. And I'm smoking these guys. I got these moves, and I'm watching Mikey Powell, because it's his first year at Syracuse, and they're on TV. And I'm like, all right, let me try this. And I would do it, and it would work. But I just didn't realize I had to bring my stick with me. I like if the guy's in front of you, you hold your stick back. But once you go by him, your stick is exposed unless you bring it forward.
Yeah.
And I was getting ripped. I would get by the guys and I get ripped. And those are the subtle things that you learn eventually as you play sports. The more and more you play different sports and you pick on these little nuances of the game. So once I devoted that entire summer after my senior year before I transitioned to college to stick protection. Once I was able to protect my stick, it was a wrap. So,
awesome.
But thanks for bringing that up. Thanks for bringing that up, Britt. This is your time, and you're making me talk about myself. That was fun.
I had to. Come on.
Well, this is a good transition right now for rapid fire. We'll go back to asking Brittany questions. Okay.
I'm a little nervous about this.
This is
good. No, it'll
Simple.
be okay. It'll be fun. Yeah, have fun with it. So usually we have like either or. But we got a couple open-ended questions in honor of the Syracuse women's lacrosse GOAT of all time. So the first question, what do we got? Best women's lacrosse player of all time. Who you got?
Oh God, there's so many to choose from.
You can only pick one.
You only got one.
Currently, I don't know. I would maybe say Kayla Trainer was phenomenal to watch. Taylor Cummings.
Yeah.
Cummings is no joke too.
Yeah. I mean, I have to go with Syracuse, but overall, I mean, Taylor Cummings, 3-time Thornton Award winner. That's pretty.
She's a stud.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Jen Adams was a baller back
unbelievable
in the day for Maryland, right? Jen Adams, the Australian.
That's why there's so many to choose from. Yeah. Like when I was growing up, my idol was Erica LeGros because she went.
Erica LeGros. Yeah.
Yep. And then UNC, she was about 5 years older than I was, and to me, she's like one of the greatest. Like being able to watch her right there.
No doubt.
All right. I know you're a huge Rocky fan.
Oh God, yeah.
What's your favorite Rocky movie of all time?
3.
With Clubber? Okay. With Clubber Lang?
Clubber Lang.
No. Yeah, with
Mr. T.
Yeah.
You're not saying 3. That's like my favorite one.
Well, I'll say 1. It's like depends on the mood. 1, 3, and then the very last one where he comes back. With
Tommy Guns or with his son?
No, when he comes back as an older guy.
Rocky Balboa. That's a good one too. I like that one too.
That was like my favorite one with my father. So I would watch that with my dad.
Nice.
And our phrase that would come, that ended up like being our phrase, came from that movie.
Love it.
What was that?
So in the movie, what was her name? He called her Little Marie, I think it was.
Yeah, Little Marie.
And
she was from Rocky 5. She used to hang on the corner in Rocky 5 with his son.
Yeah. So he's like getting he's in the truck and she looks at him, he says something, and then she was just like, fighters fight. And so that became like when my dad got sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. I'm using it all week.
Listen, I have it tattooed right here. So when my father got sick the first time, he was like, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, we're going to fight, Dad, right? And we had watched that movie right before he got sick, ironically. So fighters fight, right? Because we added that part on because that's what I said to him. Like, that became our phrase. Yeah, I got it tattooed right here on my wrist. I have his ashes in the ink and everything.
Love it. Love that. That's great. You know, it was funny about Rock though. Like Rock was, you know, he was motivated, you know, by himself, but he would lose his way in those movies. And then you always have to have like Adrian tell him like win in number 2 to win it. And then in number 3, he had to have Mick, you know, call him out and say, you haven't been hungry, you know, since you won the title. And then in 4, it was like Adrian again, telling him you can't beat Drago. You know what I mean?
You can't win.
Yeah, right. Like big pun with the sample on that one too.
Yeah.
But you know, Rocky, I could talk Rocky a whole podcast.
Sounds like it.
All right, wait, I got another one. Rather go skiing for an entire week or the beach for one weekend?
Oh, beach.
No, well, hold on. Here's the question.
It's a whole weekend.
A whole week of skiing. So 7 days off of work, no worries in the world, or
beach.
A weekend. So 2 days at the beach.
I figured you.
Like it's not even. I get it. Like being able to have it like a week off, but no beach. Anytime.
Corcoran or Henniger?
Henniger.
No.
Sorry. That's where I would have gone if I didn't.
I know, but you didn't go there. You chose to not go there. For a reason.
I knew it.
You just didn't live in the Corcoran district. That's why.
Listen,
you're more. I know. Yeah, you're Henniger. I get it. Corcoran's still different.
All right. Well, let's transition here. I love the great answers.
Awesome. Yeah, that was awesome.
Except, well, I would have chose. I'm a big Ivan Drago guy. I thought the Russian one, the Cold War Rocky was my favorite. But
excellent one.
Anyway, so cultural segment, what's going on in the world? Obviously, like we said, Women's History Month, but just to get your thoughts on the current state of women's lacrosse. What's your take on it?
I think it's grown and it keeps growing exponentially, which is amazing. I think that women in the game right now, wherever they can, are stepping up and also like using their place in the lacrosse world to be as like a platform to also speak up for everything that is going on. Obviously the game overall we still have a long way to go in lacrosse, but just seeing like these women and athletically what they've grown to become from even when I was playing, the stick work, you know, just where they're at, and even like being comfortable in their bodies and with, you know, the lifting and the running, and that just like does so much, especially like being a little bit older now and removed. Like I'm looking at it from that perspective now. Like how are these women in the game, you know, using what they have to be able to be good role models too for girls. And I think it's done an amazing job. And we've, you know, from the East Coast, I mean, obviously you guys are both from upstate New York. Like it's amazing to see how many people from upstate New York also have like moved all over the country to help grow the game.
Yeah.
Which has helped.
Yeah. Are you for women's coaches, right? I think women's lacrosse coaching is the highest level it's ever been because so many former like good players are getting into coaching now in the women's game. You know, watching the women's game now is unbelievable to watch. I'm such a huge fan. My wife played lacrosse at Limestone and she coaches high school down here in Florida as well. So like we love the women's game. And I think the biggest thing is growing up, it was always like this opinion from boys and men's lacrosse players, like, oh, I don't know the rules. So I don't even watch it. And it's like, the rules, watch the competitive nature, Watch the stick work. Watch the athleticism. Like, watch the game, because the game really is pure. It's a pure game, and it's fun to watch. And we love watching our Florida Southern team here. They won a national championship in 2016 for D2, and they're always good. It's always fun to watch it. So I think that's elevated as well, the coaching ranks, right? There's like
completely
more quality coaches coaching women's lacrosse now.
Yeah, the athletes are more skilled and more athletic. The coaching is more strategic and high level thinking. I still the one ding on women's lacrosse, in my opinion, and maybe, you know, I'll be honest, I don't watch as much as I probably should. But the one ding about the sport is the amount of stoppages in play. Is there a way that we can change the game from a rule standpoint?
At the college level, they have made that change where if there's a whistle, you can still keep going.
It's play on. Play on whistle.
So between that and the 90-second shot clock, I think last year would have been the first year.
Yeah.
2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago, but this year already, I mean, it has transformed the speed.
Yeah, that would be great.
That was the issue, right? Like when Maryland beat Syracuse in the national championship, I think it was 2014. It was, Maryland held on the ball at one point for 7.5 minutes.
Yeah,
you can't
do that.
And that like drew fans away. But where it's going with the shot clock, with the being able to restart it right away, being able to move a little bit now, then on the whistle, because you're not stopping and resetting, it has changed the game so much.
That sitting on the ball thing was happening in the men's game too. I literally couldn't watch a men's lacrosse game in college for a very long time. But maybe I think it was like that's when they started really making face-off sticks and face-off specific sticks. Maybe 10 years ago, there was like a 3-year stretch where games were like 8-5 or like 5-3 on a consistent basis, and it just wasn't fun to watch those type of games. So sitting on the ball for 7 minutes, you should get kicked out of your entire league.
I know. Yeah. Well, I know Gary was a big part of pushing for the shot clock. He's done, even though we praise so many women, he has done so much for the women's game, I think. And he's done, the stick work alone has elevated since he's taken over at SU, just because that's what he has focused on. And that's like raised everybody else's games around the country. It's seeing, a Kayla Trainer with her stick and what she can do with it. Like Michelle Tumolo, like.
So Gary Gate, perfect transition to my next, question, topic, whatever. I don't know if you've seen or not, or heard or read, but Meghan Markle called out the entire royal family this past week for racist comments or just feeling not being accepted, subtle stuff or indirect, direct, covert, overt, whatever you want to call it, right? And it's a topic that I think has brought light to a lot of people that have kind of ignored what's been going on in the last few months. Originally, I really wanted to talk about that, but I kind of we were going to transition into who the royal families are in all the different sports go around around the sports industry. Yeah. And I think I'd rather get into that. You brought up the Gates, right? You brought up Gary Gate. Yeah. Is the Gate family still the royal family of lacrosse?
Yeah.
The Powells got to be up there, right?
I would say, yeah. Especially being from Syracuse, the Powells and the Gates, but the Gates, like they're like, Gary's like Jordan of lacrosse. Like, I don't care. It's like when you talk about Jordan, like LeBron doesn't hold a candle to him, Like, I love LeBron. I have so much respect for LeBron, but it's still like it's Jordan. Like
I get it. I get it. I get it.
It's something to be said. The first one to do it's something to be said.
Right, exactly. Like you set that level, you set that precedence. If you want to be the best, you got to be able to work as hard as that person.
So okay. So who's the current royal family in basketball?
Okay, so I'm going to take a woman's point of view right now.
Love it. Love it.
And I think in sports currently,
all of sports,
the best couple.
Yep.
Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe.
Ooh, I didn't even have them on my list. That's amazing.
You can't get any better than that.
Yes, that spans over 2 sports too.
And like legends in both.
Dude, Rapinoe's still scoring goals. She had 2 goals the other day in the finals there.
Yeah,
wow.
That you can't say like that is, I think, the royal family of sports.
Well, I was gonna end it with Serena and Venus.
Oh, like love.
That's got to be up there. That's got to be up there. And then you got the football guys. You got the Mannings, Brady and Giselle. But yeah, I love the Rapinoe and Sue Bird.
I mean, currently with what they're still doing,
without it, I like that.
What they've accomplished,
yeah, that's a great take. That's a great take. I like that too.
Especially for the just enlightening people to being conscious and socially accepting of that LGB. There's so many letters. I always get confused, but that community, it always changes too. So nah, man, I was a huge Sue Bird fan when she was in college. And Megan Rapinoe, it feels like she's been, a key contributor to the U.S. women's national team for over a decade.
All they do is win. All she does is win. Mm-hmm. Like, you can say what you want about her takes on politics and about this and that, but all she does is win. Like, and
that's it. Like she shows up and she does it.
You can't deny it. Like, that's just
right. It's like when you talk about Brady, it's like you can't deny he is the greatest.
He
like,
just wins.
Wherever he goes,
he wins.
Yeah.
He wins. He's a winner.
He's a winner, man.
He's a winner. Love winners. I love winners.
I'm in it. Real talk or fugazi?
Real talk or fugazi. So now, just to remind you, Britt, I know we spoke about. Well, I sent you an email. This is we're gonna make a bold statement, and you're gonna have to agree or disagree with it. If you agree with it, then you say it's real talk. You can explain if you want, or we can move on. But if you disagree, we call it fugazi, and you gotta explain why.
Oh boy. Okay.
So the first one is just I'm a huge basketball fan. That's the only reason I was talking about it at the gym this morning. I got to lift in as well.
I died this morning. You got to talk to your boy. I died.
Yo, shout out to Flight Room Fitness, Syracuse, New York.
That's dope. Flight Room.
Yeah,
big
man.
Shout.
Every day at 5 a.m. and he kills me.
Hey man, I spoke to Jamar the other day, and they had they've been trying to find innovative and new ways to really keep people in shape and to keep people fit and to make sure that everybody knows that, your body is your temple and you've got to prioritize being healthy, over a lot of other things. Or at least put that in.
Can we rap about that real quick? Just talk about that real quick.
Let's do it before we go real talk.
Because we're talking like entrepreneurship to the highest level, right? Is this an online platform that Jamar's put out with Flight
Room? That's where I was going. They have a facility. And during the pandemic, they've had to be really creative. They've had to be really creative, and so I think things are starting to open up, right, Britt?
Yeah, they are, and he's done a really nice job. And we can come back to it, but who's been helping out a lot, who's become one of my good friends, it's an all-time great in the lacrosse game, is Sydney Praka, who coaches at Syracuse. And so she's been working out there, and that's kind of how I started going over there, and they've really done a nice job. They've been virtual. There's Flight Room live classes now, and they've been recording, and I know, like, really trying to bring it to the next level. I mean, health and fitness, like you already said, Matt, is huge. And I think this pandemic and COVID alone has really stressed the importance of it and why it's so important to take care of your body, because, you get sick. I know even with my father probably wouldn't have made it as many years as he did if he wasn't in the shape he was in.
Work out every day.
So I used to when CrossFit first started crossing over to like more of a popular pop culture, thing. It was kind of, beginning to be, a staple rather than a fad. I used to always, me. If you guys know me, I'm super competitive, and I'm all about mine and whatever. And I used to, hate on people doing CrossFit. I'd be like, yo, these ain't real. They call themselves CrossFit athletes. Man, you can't even catch a ball, like all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And slowly but surely you recognize your mistakes, right? Because I don't think, fitness at any point, like, CrossFit or Pilates or, Zumba or whatever you want to do it. It's not about what you can do and what results you can bring to other people. It's internal. It's about, feeling better about yourself. It's about improving your own, outlook on life, or just what you can accomplish. And, it took me a while to recognize and accept that, these guys are athletes in their mind. They're athletes, period. And, just being fit is the epitome of, starting a successful venture, and I'm all about it. All about it.
Well, it's self-care. I know I need to do it too for like my mental health. Like,
without a doubt.
If I don't do it, then like my students even know. They're like, you didn't go to the gym this morning, did you? Because I'm like,
stuff gets thrown off. Yep.
All right. Real talk with Fugazi. NBA playoffs will be in a bubble this season. Again.
Oh, real talk.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was thinking to myself once like, police officers, firefighters, and service workers like that get their vaccines, maybe we'll be able to give it to like professional athletes, But
the hard part is that with like these variants coming over, that's going to be what we have to figure out. But
all right, here we go. Well, this one's the easy one. I think the shot clock has made women's lacrosse better.
Real talk.
Okay.
Real talk.
That's the easy one. That was weak. All right.
Oh, Benny, come on, man. Come on.
So, who put the you made that one?
It's kind of soft.
Earlier.
Any shot clock. Any shot clock.
I know. I got
all right. Benny the Butcher will end up being the best rapper of all time.
Fugazi. What?
Ooh. Why?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like right now it's really heavy about Eminem because of what Gen Z is like trying to do to Eminem. But like lyrically, like old school, like you don't get better than like a Biggie or an Eminem. Like, and I just watched the Biggie documentary. Actually,
nice.
Yeah, I did too. That was cool.
I had the Biggie Instagram story thing going yesterday.
Biggie track. They told like a story. It wasn't just like mumbles and like F this and all this stuff about like.
Then you got to listen to more Benny, because Benny's up there.
I got to, but I just still think like old school. Again, it's like the Jordan story and the Gate story. Like
I like it.
You got to be the first to ever do it.
All right, last one. The Lemoyne Dolphins women's lacrosse team will win the national championship this year.
Real talk. I have to stick with my Dolphins.
Hey,
that's good love.
Okay.
Go
okay.
Box.
Who are their biggest competitors besides Florida Southern?
Adelphi.
It's like those top three right now, and then like everybody else, like Tampa's pretty good for women.
They just moved up though in the top. I think they're number 3 right now.
Yeah, there's some tough teams. Lindenwood is very good out in Missouri. But like Adelphi, Lemoyne, Florida Southern, you could probably put those top 3 and go, they're going to be competing every year. So.
Like I meet people even as an adult, and like I met a kid that played like at Adelphi a few weeks ago, and I was like, ill. Like that was my initial response. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm 30 years old, I'm an adult. I shouldn't be saying that, but I can't now.
Yeah, it's Adelphi. It's Adelphi.
It's Adelphi. And it's so funny because when I played STX, Demi-Ann became one of my best friends on the team, and we knew each other from the Adelphi Lemoyne battles. And both of our groups of friends, when we became friends, we're like, "Are you kidding me?" Like,
yeah, right.
But she's, then you wonder why you hate each other because you are. I mean, that's
that was like Limestone and Lemoyne for men's lacrosse forever. It was always like north and south, always going to meet up in the Final Four at some point, or in the playoffs, and it was always tough. So, always a good battle. So want to move on here, Maddie, and hit what's the deal and drop us.
Yeah. So what's the deal? It's our segment where, just something's going on in the world that, we try to make sense of through discussing. And I saw a post, a buddy of mine posted an article about a woman, Alicia. I don't know. I don't know her name. Montano.
Yeah.
Okay, Montano. She's a U.S. Olympic runner, and she got pregnant back in 2019, and she was so afraid that she was going to lose all her sponsorships. Olympic runners, I don't think they win a lot of money when they win events or when they participate in events. There's no like professional league.
They win a lot. They win enough.
They get sponsorship money. They get endorsement money, and that's their big income. Yeah. And if you can't run, and you can't be seen, it's tough to be endorsed. So she was really worried about whether or not she was going to lose her endorsements, and basically every one of them said that they weren't going to pay her while she was pregnant, while she was not actively running. But apparently Nike stepped up their game and made a what they say, they made a amendment to all of their female contracts that said, if they do get pregnant, they will be paid.
You're still going to get paid.
Time. Yeah. So I what's up with that? Like, I wanted to bring that to the table, obviously, due to the fact that we're in Women's History Month. I want to reach out and think about things that I've never thought of. And that's one thing, obviously, that I've never thought of. I've never had to worry about whether or not I'm going to become pregnant and lose out or have to take days off or have to lose out on potential income. And that's something that, the whole world needs, let alone the sporting world needs more empathy on, and more understanding. Like I'm so proud of Nike. I'm not part of Nike, but I like Nikes. But I'm so proud that Nike stepped up and really made that amendment,
They've been stepping up huge, I feel like, especially throughout this year, like just standing with, actually being like anti-racist and standing with women. I think Serena, because Serena's amazing, and I know she went through similar stuff when she was pregnant.
Yep.
Where the worry and the sponsorships, and you're talking about, the greatest athlete of all time is Serena Williams, men's or women's,
Without doubt.
And
we talked about that.
She's like the last person on earth that should ever be worried about that. But it is, it is bringing light to women in sport. Women in general, that we need more. We need more support. And I like you saying like the word empathy, because it's just, there's not enough out there. Just even like, it's not even good enough to have one woman with the seat at the table. No. Even as everything that I'm doing right now with like trying to do stuff for the city and trying to do things, find other people, most of the people I'm working with are men. And I am the only woman that's walking into some of these meetings. Yeah. And it's great. It is great, to have that place, but it's also alarming that why don't we have more women involved? And there's so many ideas and the energy and excitement around it. I think too, a few years ago, the women's national team for the soccer team stepped up huge to say like, we need equal pay, even that, like talking about that on the women's side too, like they're actually winning world championships. They're winning the Olympics and weren't making nearly as much as the men's team, and the men's weren't winning,
Well, we had a guest on last week who, mentioned that, it wasn't even always about, the financial compensation, that we need to get paid as much as the men movement. It was, the accommodations weren't the same, which blew my mind. Again, I've never even thought about that. I just assumed they got the same quality of buses and same quality of airfare and the same quality of food and spreads before and after games. Like, you know, and those are the things that I think the general public just doesn't understand. That there are significant differences.
If you do want to know a little bit, Abby Wambach wrote, it's an easy read. It's called Wolfpack. Just a little bit on like perspective from a woman's athlete. Obviously, Abby Wambach is, you know, another all-time greatest athletes. But just like that even opened my eyes. I read it, I think over last year, but just what they had to do, like her, you know, really when Michelle Akers was there, Mia Hamm, like that group, you know, and Mia Hamm was around with Jordan. And to me, like when I was growing up, those two were the top athletes that I just admired. It was my whole bedroom. And, you know, the fact that Mia Hamm had they weren't allowed to practice on certain fields or just eat, like you're saying, airfare, busing. And that was, you know, 20 years ago, but it's still so relevant in just what women had to do to even just have, you know, anything given to them. Like
something equitable, right? Yeah, something equitable.
Mia Hamm was my favorite until she married Nomar Garcia Parra.
It's
Yankees all day, baby. Yankees all day.
Yeah, my wife just went through it. We just had our daughter in August, and she's our second baby, and having a baby girl has not changed my outlook on things related to women, but now it just hit more home that I'm going to be raising a woman, you know, a girl.
Dad, baby.
Yeah, trying and doing it. And, you know, 6 weeks is like not enough time, you know, for maternity.
No way.
No. And, I mean, I see it with teachers, you know, like
6 weeks is not enough time.
It's not, you know, and even as I'm doing this degree, like I don't have a husband yet. I don't have any kids yet, but that's even something, you know, unfortunately you think about, like, if I did get this degree, when I get this, are they going to be looking at like, well, within these next few years, you're at the age where you might be getting married and having kids. Like, is that going to play a part into them hiring me as a school's athletic director? Right. Like it's, unfortunately, that is things that, you know, women do think about, and they shouldn't, you know, it's I mean, it's awful and it's really defeating. And, I just think
it's handicapping.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's an obstacle that you shouldn't have to battle.
No, that should be almost accepted. Like, all right, well, you know, women have, you know, they have this special gift of keeping our society, keeping our race alive. Let's treat them accordingly. You know, like it's nuts. It's nuts that, you know, the things that we as men don't think about on a day-to-day basis, you know, women have to think about, and they're big problems. That is a huge problem, and that happens all the time. That happens all the time. Like a CEO or a principal or an owner of a team might think twice. I'm not gonna say isn't, but will definitely think twice about hiring or signing a woman that is potentially going to be pregnant in the next 5 years, if that's what they determine. That's terrible.
That happens every day.
That's terrible, man.
And then you just add on the other factors too, is that as a woman stepping in with a lot of men, you know, I've been very lucky that I've been around mostly respectful men, you know. That's what I grew up in a boxing gym, you know, with Dad being my best friend. But with that being said, I also know of when a guy's being inappropriate. And unfortunately, I just feel like as women, we have to, you know, I think with the Me Too movement, with Kamala being vice president, Amanda Gorman with her poem at the inauguration and the Super Bowl, like we have so many women stepping up, with Meghan Markle, even everything that went on this week. But it's just, it's no longer okay for women to sit back and just be like, okay, I'll just deal with it. Or I'll just move from, you know, this building to this building or this gym to this gym. Like, because this guy's being a little creepy or saying these, like, no, we have to start stepping up and coming together collectively and saying, like, that's not okay. We deserve more.
Yep.
It's important to bring everything to light. The more we know, the more we can make better, more positive decisions.
I think that was Brittany's jewel.
That could have been the jewel.
Dropped that jewel right there.
Bring it to light. Bring it to light.
That's great right there. We're gonna drop some jewels to end this thing. Hang tight for us, Brittany. Here, I'll lead off. Today is my day where I'm actually published content author. So I got a job, an extra job doing articles for Lax All-Stars, and I'm kind of their D2 writer and a guy who can help with some content. So I wrote my first article on Monday, and
What'd you write it on?
That thing. D2 landscape and how it's changed.
Tease it. Don't tell us everything.
No, the D2 landscape and how it's changed since when I graduated high school in 2003, and went to Limestone, and that was the most southern school you could go to, the furthest away I could get from Syracuse. And now you can go to Utah, you can go to schools in Colorado, Missouri, Florida, wherever. Just the whole landscape's changed, and the nationally ranked system of schools not just being in the Northeast 10 or the ECC being in the top 20. Now it's schools all over the country being in the top 20, and it should be a decent one. So yeah, excited.
I was appreciate that. Can't wait to read it. I was gonna drop a jewel about Ithaca College and how their motto is stacking 24s, meaning 24 hours in a day. They're trying to build on the next day and make sure that focus on the short term. But I'll just reiterate, man, support local, guys. Represent the Lacrosse School, JP, Link, Justin Porter out in Chicago. Thanks for the hat. And then obviously, Jamar Clark doing big things with Flight Room Fitness in Syracuse, New York. Keep working out. Keep everybody fit. Support local.
Brittany, tell everybody where they can tag you at and find you on Instagram.
All right, BM Brigandi.
Yep.
Very, very Italian, if you could tell. Brigandi. So I usually just use Instagram. I am not kind of out of the Twitter world now.
Cool.
IG.
Awesome.
Well, hey, Britt, we really appreciate you coming on. It's been too long, and I know we're gonna try to get you down here for some camps and some stuff. Marty and I do a bunch of youth lacrosse events together. So I definitely want to get you down here and help out the women's side. And shoot, you're probably better than us at the men's side too. So,
no doubt.
Appreciate you coming on the pod, man. It was great, very informative, and I think our viewers are gonna love it.
I hope so.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Enjoy.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
So let's see who first to the finish. If it's less than 100 racks, you don't deserve your attention. Cause burdens come with it. My second test was serving a sentence. My first is make a brick jump like it was heard of. Good one.
That he's capable. The 35 is tough when you're going up against 22, 23, 24-year-old studs.
Yeah, did you watch him in the bubble though? He was shooting a lot, missing a lot.
If they manage him, and if he allows that to happen, if they manage him the right way, he's gonna when he plays, he's gonna put up 4 or 5 goals a game. He's a stud, bro. You
think he's gonna put up 4 or 5 goals a game?
I would say if they manage him the right way, meaning they don't allow him to play defense. They don't put him on the wings.
He's getting step downs?
They might even sit him a game or two just to make sure he's recovered. Okay. He's coming right out of the box. I could see him having 2 games. Here's my line.
Okay.
So he's gonna have 2 games this season with 4 goals or 5. 4 or 5 goals.
Wow. That's a huge take, Matty. That's a huge take. And I love the take. I love it. I love it. Consistent veteran. More than a veteran. He's on that higher level. I love it. The John Grant Jr., the Casey Powell comparison, get him in the locker room.
Paulie Bones, man, that's my guy. Shout out to Paul Rabel. Tag him when we post this.
If you get a chance, you got to pick him. You got to get him. Shout out to Victoria. Vegemite spread or Marmite spread?
Both horrendous.
Both are horrendous. Toast out. and he'd be whipping up Vegemite, and he'd hand it to me, and I'd eat it. And I'd be like, what are we eating?
The fact that Vegemite's Australian, I'll probably go Marmite.
There you go.
Ultimately, we get the same, like, but it's other things. It's like the, travel conditions.
Right. That's the big stuff that you can make sure that is a level 100% playing field.
Training facilities, like the men won't train on turf. So now it's the same, like, the women don't have to train on turf either. The men, if they fly more than a couple of hours, it's business class, everything. Now, they have that same kind of deal, which hurts the federation because, we ain't got money like the US soccer or something. So then now they got to fly team around the world. They got to pay business class for everyone. But it's just, again, matching those standards. Like, it's good for the men.
Yeah, it's better. It's better. 1 year of the pandemic now, right? We've been living in this world now. How come New Zealand had so much success, or at least visible, like media success with the pandemic compared to the United States? Not just population. What do you think one of the differences were?
There's a couple. Firstly, being an island nation helps. You can kind of stop. But what they did is they took it really seriously. As soon as it kind of came in, the country shut down for 8 weeks. Stay at home, no one leave, and everyone took it seriously. There was no like, this is fake. This is hard. Everyone just went, okay, we'll do it. And I think the government has, like, the people trust the government.
Yeah, I haven't put either of my kids into T-ball because it's so boring.
Yeah.
So, soccer's fun to watch as a parent, fun to play. They're learning stuff. They're picking things up. Love to see that sport grow in this country because imagine 350 million people playing soccer, a population of, almost 400 million with kids playing soccer and loving the sport. That's how, America will compete for a World Cup,
What's the deal?
First of all, beware your internet provider. But something I'm dealing with a little bit from time to time with kids. I think it's relevant in all areas of the world, though, is like always look for opportunities to grow and develop. And in a situation, I've got some kids who, my team's not good enough, or I'm the best player, I'm not growing my skill set or whatever. That becomes a frustration where teach kids that that's an opportunity to still grow in other areas. You can grow your leadership ability. How can you influence someone who's maybe not as good as you, instead of thinking, well, I'm not growing technically, so be done with it. Can you now develop that player? And this helps build your leadership skills. So there's always ways to grow some part of your character, and especially with our leadership, that's one of the most important things you can develop. So looking at it as a positive instead of as a negative, and having impact.
That is so overlooked. Character and leadership amongst youth players that are talented.